I absolutely adore Glacier National Park. You will find me there almost every summer. I'm up there hiking and exploring. So I love this national park. But there is one thing that just gives me extra anxiety, makes me feel overwhelmed about my time in Glacier. And today I want to talk about it because I feel like this is the worst thing about Glacier National Park, but I also want to help you avoid it. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and I'm the founder of Dirt in My Shoes, a website that helps you plan the perfect national park vacation. And today I want to talk about Glacier National Park. I have other videos about some of my favorite things about Glacier and how to plan a trip to Glacier. I have a lot of resources on Dirt in My Shoes about this, but something that a lot of people don't talk about is what I feel the worst thing about Glacier National Park is. So today I want to talk about that for a minute and help you navigate around it so that you can have the best time ever in this gorgeous national park. This is going to be a really candid and genuine conversation because I just want to make sure you know what to expect when you go. So in Glacier National Park, I feel like the worst thing about this national park is the parking. And it's a busy national park. You can have this problem in other national parks, but in Glacier, it just feels so stressful. It's like so anxiety producing for a lot of people because the parking situation in Glacier is notoriously just difficult. Logan Pass, one of the most busy places in Glacier and one of the hardest places to find parking, like people will get up before the sun. I've heard people getting up and driving into the park like 3 a.m. just to get up to the parking lot, get a parking space. They'll snooze for a couple of hours and then start their hike because it's just so hard to get parking here. And there's other places in the park as well that are really difficult to find parking. So I feel like for me, even though I'm in Glacier a lot and I'm really familiar with this park, it's always kind of like, are we going to get parking today? Are we going to be able to do all the things on our list? Because it's just really hard to get parking here. So today I want to just talk you through it. Make sure you know what you can do, some things you can do to avoid having that problem all the time. A lot of people go to Glacier not even knowing this, and they'll just drive around and like not ever be able to find parking. So I definitely don't want you to have that problem. So as I mentioned, the most difficult place to find parking is at Logan Pass. This is at the top of the Going to the Sun Road. It's absolutely spectacular, just gorgeous views right from the parking lot. There's a lot of mountain goats and bighorn sheep in this area. You'll see bears in this area. The hiking trails that start from Logan Pass are amazing. You've got the Highline Trail, you've got the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail. So it's just a really cool part of the park. As I mentioned, some people like get up super, super early, way before the sun comes up to try to get parking up here. Last summer when we were at Glacier, we had someone offer to pay us for our parking spot because they were so desperate just to be able to park. We've also seen people like the car next to us had a sign on the back of their car that said, "We're not leaving right now. Please don't ask." Because if you're even standing at your car, like trying to pack your bag or anything, get ready for a hike, you'll have people just constantly like, "Hey, are you leaving? Hey, can we have your spot? Hey, well, you need a spot. Why are you standing there?" You feel guilty if you're standing at your car because people just want your parking spot so bad. And so it really is a problem. There's other parts of the park too that have maybe not quite as bad as Logan Pass, but they can get very, very, very competitive for parking. So Glacier has tried to do a few things about this. They do have a reservation system in place now to anyone who wants to drive the Going to the Sun Road, basically. So that does cut down on the number of people trying to get up in that area. But in my experience, because I've been to the park with this reservation system almost every year since they started it, it's still really, really hard to get parking. So that has helped, but not a ton. They have a free park shuttle that will take you to some of these places where it's really hard to get parking. But again, the shuttle system isn't my favorite. It's pretty hard to get place to place in a good amount of time. Like last time I used the shuttle system last summer, we had to wait for about an hour for a shuttle that had room to take us to the next stop. And so that to me, it just isn't ideal either. And then they also do have tours that run in some of the most popular areas of the park. So like the red bus tours, for example, are very popular. My problem with these is just that they don't give you very much time at some of these busy places. And so yes, they'll park you at Logan Pass and you can get out for like 20 minutes, but it's not enough time to go hiking or exploring, really. So if that's not important to you, then that could be a great option for navigating the hard to park at places in Glacier. So with that expectation going into Glacier National Park, just knowing that it's really hard to find parking. I mentioned Logan Pass. Another place that's really hard to get parking is the Avalanche Creek parking area, the place where you'll catch the Trail of the Cedars and Avalanche Lake. There are some places, Mini Glacier, it can be really hard to get parking back in there. Bowman Lake is really difficult to get parking. So there's just a lot of different parts of Glacier that the parking situation is very competitive and stress-inducing. Now that you know this is a problem though, let's talk about how to avoid having issues with the parking lots in Glacier, because there are some really good things that you can do to better navigate this park. And like I said, a lot of people don't even know that this is a problem until they get there. And so because you've been watching this video and you already know, you're steps ahead from most people who go to Glacier National Park. The first thing you can do is head to dirtmyshoes.com and check out this Glacier itinerary, because I do spend so much time in Glacier National Park. And this is an hour by hour schedule of when to be where, what I would do, how to avoid the majority of those parking issues and crowding issues in this park. And so the Glacier itinerary is a really good option for that. I mentioned that the park does have a free shuttle, so that's an option if you're not like trying to pack in your day with a lot of stuff, because you will need to take into account that you will need some padding of time around that to wait for the shuttle. You might not be able to catch a shuttle. You know, those lines can get really long. And so keep that in mind, or a tour, a red bus tour is a good option. But in general, for parking issues, if you can get there really early in the morning or later in the evening, that seems to, really help with the majority of the issues that you'll have in Glacier with parking. So really early in the morning, we're talking really early, you can get parking at pretty much all these places. I consistently do get parking at Logan Pass. That hasn't been a huge issue for me because I get there early enough in the day. So you can do that. Another thing that I really love to do actually is go to some of these places later in the evening, especially from about dinner time on. You'll find that people start to leave the park. They're all heading to dinner. They've spent their day in the park. And so to go back to a lot of these places and get parking during dinner time really is one of the best ways to avoid the parking issues. Now, going later in the day won't help you if you're hoping to get parking so that you can do a longer hike, but we love going to Logan Pass dinner time or later. A lot of times we see animals, just like bighorn sheep mostly, or mountain goats, in the parking lot itself or along the road. So it's a really cool place to go if you want to see wildlife in the evenings. Sunsets from up there are gorgeous. The nice thing about Glacier is that the sun stays out really late. You're pretty far north. Typically the sun doesn't go down until around like 9 to 10 p.m. And so even if you go out and start exploring some things around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, you still have hours to do things. And so that's a really great option as well. So what's the worst thing about Glacier National Park? It's the parking situation. But how do you avoid it? Timing in this park is key. Make sure that you hit those busiest parking lots at the best times of day. Head out early, go out late, be out there when other people are sleeping or eating. That's really helpful as well. So hopefully you'll go into your Glacier trip just armed with this information and that you will know how to avoid those crowds in Glacier National Park. Have a great time.